Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is once again time for the WADcast. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by where's Brandon? Hold on. Something's goofy. Oh wait, Brandon's not here tonight. That's right. It's just gonna be us kids. And you know what that means? That means when Brandon's not here, I get to do all sorts of crazy, wacky stuff, like talk about the things that I like to talk about. But before we get into that, how about we mention a few of the things that have been going on this year? That's right. It's the last episode of the year, and a lot of things have gone down over the course of 2023. Uh, Not least of all the not one but two strikes that ran concurrently between the writers and the actors. Directors got their money real quick, but the other two, the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild, they held out, and for all intents and purposes, they seem to have gotten the deals that they wanted. So congratulations to them. Hopefully, making sure that ensuring that the writers and actors will be secure in their roles, their employment, and not replaced by robots. That's I think the ultimate end goal for the negotiation. Not to mention breaking off a little bit more of that streaming money. Now that we are aware that it exists and is a major player, unlike the last time things were, popping off with strikes and negotiations. What else has happened this year? Well, we had a Barbenheimer. Oh my goodness, Barbenheimer happened. Wow. For those of you that have been just living under a rock, earlier this year there were two movies released simultaneously, same day, Barbie and Oppenheimer, and those were combined into a portmanteau called Barbenheimer. No words. How about that? Jen would be so proud of me. Yes, it was an event like no other. Instead of being competition for each other, somehow, some way, the two movies combined forces and created this event where people not only had to see Barbie, but they had to see Oppenheimer. And it was good for the industry watching these movies team up. Going head to head, they still were like, let's team up and take advantage of this marketable name, Barbenheimer. And by the way, both movies were great. I think that was the beautiful part about all of it. It wasn't just the one picking up the other. No, it was two great movies that came out on the same day and worked together marketing strategy wise and became the hit of the year. Barbie just, I think, blew everybody's minds. Whether you loved it or didn't, you were definitely walking out going, I feel. You know how it goes. But Barbenheimer was a huge story. And I think the last big thing I want to touch on before I move on to something else is, two things. I'm going to go on two things. The first being the once again call for the death of the superhero movie. Yes, it's been a rough one for some of these superheroes financially, with some exceptions. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, raked it in. Across the Spider-Verse crushed it. But then you had your, as of now, your Aquaman 2s kind of struggling along. The Flash as we talked about on the show this year, didn't really get out of the gate as nearly as well as people were hoping. And quite frankly, I don't see how anybody expected the Flash to make a ton of money. I can understand a little curiosity when it comes to Michael Keaton's back as the Batman. That's a draw, you would think. But something along the way made people make up their minds that the Flash was just not something they're going to partake in. Again, we've broken it down on the show a lot. Ant-Man, Quantumania, sorry, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Don't want to be exclusionary. They, I thought it was fine, and it struggled at the box office. That's just what happened. So, be that as it may, it was not a terribly triumphant year for superhero flicks, and that's kind of a shame. And a little bit later, I'm going to get into what my top movies were of the year. I watched 50 movies that came out from this year. I'm actually right before we, when I say we, it's the royal we because it's only me here. Right before right before the show, I was watching The Holdovers, Paul Giamatti flick, and it got a lot of praise and very old school style. I'll get into that some other time, but that reminds me that there's going to be another list of movies that are streaming now. Some of the best movies of the year are streaming now, and Variety has put together a little list of where to find them. So if you're curious to get these kind of out of the way or just in your brain box before the end of the year, I will be giving you that information towards the end of the show. In the meantime, the last thing I want to get on is my favorite bit of news. And we've been talking about it for a while, and we still need your help. Ladies and gentlemen, we still need your help because of you, because of you, because of you. You. The WADcast has been nominated to be Folio Weekly's Best of Jax 2023 Best Podcast. That's right, the best podcast in Jacksonville, Florida. Now I know what you're thinking. You guys easily are the best. You know that, and I may pretend to know that and tell people that. But we need your votes. So go to tinyurl.com/wadcast vote. That's the easiest way to remember. Or go to Folio Weekly on Facebook, where they have all the links, and vote. Vote for the podcast every day, once a day, per email address. That's right, per email address. So you put in your email address, validate your vote, and then do it again with a different email address. And I know you. Everybody has multiple email addresses. So start using them all, even the ones those other people in your life don't know about. Log in and vote. That's it. And then the WADcast, the show you're listening to right now, can carry the mantle, can carry the torch of the best podcast in Jacksonville. The title that we I don't want to say desperately, but yeah, we really want the title. Oh man! With that being said, let's get on to some other stuff. I put down that tonight's episode was going to be about the Golden Globe Awards, and as I mentioned, when Brandon's here, we sort of steer clear of these awards because what did he say on the last episode? that we talked about awards. Oh yeah, this is stupid. It's- Brandon's not a fan of awards. He believes it's like a lot of people that it's just a bunch of people kind of patting themselves on the back. I take a more well, I'm not going to say a more, but I take a different approach. You see, because first of all, when you do work and you do it well, I think we all like to be uh, shown appreciation for that work, and the more publicly, the better. They just happen to be in a field where when they do well and they're recognized for doing well, it's very public. And if there were awards for, I guess technically the Folio Weekly Best of Jack's 2023 Best Podcast Award is an award. But for my other day job, if there were regular awards, regular ways to show appreciation. And I'm saying maybe there should be some ways to show appreciation for my regular day job. I'm saying that make that happen. Anyway, all I'm saying is I would love that kind of recognition for the things that I do. And I'm sure everybody else would too. It doesn't matter if you're a welder or a bus driver. I guess teachers do have that, like teacher of the year things. But if it could be a televised event where I get a trophy, oh, I would be down for that. The the awards to me are also a way to recognize not well in the industry, but also to see where kind of I mean, let's face it, something wins an award uh, afterwards. There is generally some sort of trend that starts following, right? People see what wins, and you start seeing more of that. You start seeing more of those types of things coming out. So while awards, yeah, maybe a little bit, you know, self gratifying, if you will. It's just the idea that if you see who wins, you'll kind of get this feeling of what's hot right now, what's going down. So since Brandon's not here, I'm gonna run down the Golden Globe nominees and kind of chime in with my 2 cents as I'm trying to see. Generally, Brandon's here. I can do all the clicky stuff, and he just. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And in case if you're wondering where Brandon is, um, what can I tell you? He's unavailable at the moment. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Life happens, kids, and every once in a while, you got to step back and handle your business. And that's what Brandon had to do tonight. Had to take care of some business, TCB. And if you're out there watching and you have some comments for my thoughts on the Golden Globes, you can't see what I'm pointing at. Then by all means, feel free to chime in. So first up, best performance in a stand-up comedy television. Best performance in stand-up comedy on television, which basically this means streaming service special. That's really what it boils down to. And in most cases, Netflix streaming special, because they spend a lot of money to get exclusive rights to these stand-up specials. And yeah. First up, we have Amy Schumer, Emergency Contact. Chris Rock, Selective Outrage. Ricky Gervais, Armageddon. There was a lot of hullabaloo about some of the things that Ricky Gervais said. And my only comment is, oh, we're acting surprised now. Ricky Gervais said something problematic. Yeah. And in other news, the sun came up today. I mean, honestly, at this point, if you don't expect Ricky Gervais to say something that's going to make somebody mad, then have you even been paying attention to him ever? Come on. Sarah Silverman, someone you love. It's been a while since Sarah Silverman's kind of popped up on these things. Trevor Noah, where was I? And Wanda Sykes. I seem to have some sort of speech impediment. So how about that? Wanda Sykes, I'm an entertainer. My personal feelings about this is Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah did a great job with Where Was I? I was watching it. Maybe it's a recency bias, but I was watching it. I'm not even sure what today is. I was watching it on Wednesday night. Yes, that sounds about right. Wednesday night. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially, the bit about it's right at the front, bit about going to Germany and talking about how they handle history. It's wonderfully informative as well as entertaining. Trevor Noah does a fantastic job with a special and continues to, I think, thrive after leaving the Daily Show, and hopefully will continue to do so. He's to do so. To do so, he's a funny guy. Funny guy. No, that's not to take away from anybody else on here, because let's face it, I don't see anybody going Ricky Gervais, yeah, or Amy Schumer, because we're not at peak Amy Schumer anymore. Let's put it that way. Chris Rock, probably a little too late to get on that slap wagon, as far as sympathy carrying over for a Golden Globe award. Wanda Sykes, always a great choice. I don't know if this was the material that should win an award, though. And Sarah Silverman, I don't know. Sarah Silverman, hilarious woman, and always a good watch. Best performance. Oh, just in case I wasn't clear, my pick is Trevor Noah, because I'll go with my personal preferences, but I'm also going to maybe say who I think would win. I think Trevor Noah should definitely take both. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role on television. Alan Ruck, Secession. Alexander Skarsgård, Secession. Billy Crudup, The Morning Show. Yvonne Moss Bachrach, The Bear. James Marsden, Jury Duty. And Matthew McFadden, Succession. If I'm butchering anybody's names, by all means, whoops. So, honestly, I've only seen one of these, and it's Jury Duty. I am a fan of Alan Ruck and Mr. Skarsgård from other things, and I hear Succession is good. I've heard good things about The Bear, but I've only seen Jury Duty. It would appear that if I were a betting person, I might have to go with somebody from Succession. Succession. Again, I haven't seen the show. But, in the matter of voting, sometimes these guys cancel each other out, especially from the same show, and someone else winds up taking the top spot. Jury Duty was funny. Don't get me wrong. James Marsden playing himself does a great job playing himself. Naturally turned up to 11 to a comedic level, and perhaps a bit more self-involved than he is in real life. I don't know. I don't know. For all I know, it's spot on. But just from hype, just from like buzz, I'd probably have to give it to Yvonne Moss Bachrach for The Bear, because that show gets a lot of credit for the performances in it. And again, don't take my word to mean you should actually bet on it, because don't do that. But that's kind of like my pick, even though. Yeah, so best performance by a female actor in a supporting role on television. Abby Elliott, once again, The Bear. Christina Ricci, Yellow Jackets. A show that I keep saying I'm going to watch, but unfortunately never got around to. Elizabeth Debicki, The Crown. Hannah Waddingham, Ted Lasso. J. Smith Cameron, Succession. And Meryl Streep, Only Murders in the Building. Gotta be honest, I did not catch that last season of Only Murders in the Building, even though the first season was absolutely wonderful. And do they have 3 seasons out now? It seems like they came kind of quick. I love Steve Martin. I love Martin Short, and actually kind of became a fan of Selena Gomez in the process. Who knew? But when it comes to this award for best performance by a female actor in a supporting role on television, that's a mouthful. My personal choice is going to be Hannah Waddingham, because Ted Lasso is amazing. That is an amazing show. And quite frankly, the fact that there's only one actress from Ted Lasso being nominated, that's absolutely surprising to me. But it is a comedy. So just the fact that her and Meryl Streep are being nominated for comedies is probably, it's saying quite a bit. But when it comes to who I think will win, as much as I would love to see Hannah Waddingham take that statuette, take that trophy, how does one go against Meryl Streep? How does that happen? I think people, when they see Meryl Streep nominated, should automatically just go, "Yep, that's the one. Meryl Streep is got to be the winner." So that's where I'm leaning in that direction. Ooh, best performance by a male actor in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. So basically, what it comes down to is miniseries and TV movies. So you have David David Oyelowo for Lawman, Bass Reeves, John Hamm for Fargo, Matt Bomer for Fellow Travelers, Sam Claflin for Daisy Jones and the Six, Stephen Yeun for Beef, and Woody Harrelson in House Plumbers. This is quite the tricky category for one reason. I haven't seen any of it. But out of all of these things, only Fargo and Beef have really hit my radar. Fargo more on a regular basis, and Beef, that became quite the story this year. The popularity of Beef kind of came from nowhere, took spot in the zeitgeist. People were talking about it all over. Did you see Beef? I say no, I haven't. So this is tricky. You got John Hamm, a perennial favorite of mine. Woody Harrelson, same thing. But personal preferences would be John Hamm, just because the guy played the Reverend in Kimmy Schmidt. He Mad Men. He shows up for work. Doesn't matter how big, how little, comedy, drama. He shows up. So just from the heart, I would love John Hamm to take it. But probably, considering I haven't seen any of them, I don't want to say more deserving, but probably more to the point of this being, built around the buzz. I'm gonna have to go with Beef. Yeah, my pick is Beef. And when we come back, I will kind of update everybody on how well I did, and hopefully I did well. So, best performance by a female actor in a limited series, anthology, motion picture made for television. We have Ali Wong for Beef, Brie Larson, Lessons in Chemistry, Elizabeth Olsen, Love and Death, Juno Temple for Fargo, Rachel Weisz in Dead Ringers, and Riley Keough for Daisy Jones. And The Six. Again, this falls under a lot of things that I didn't see, and I really don't have anything to say other than I appreciate the work of all of these actresses and other things. I'm gonna have to go straight with the same thought process as last time. Ali Wong is a personal favorite, and Beef. What do we have coming up next? Best performance by a male actor in a comedy series, musical, or best performance by a male actor in a television series, musical, or comedy. Finally, something that I'm more familiar with. All right, first up, we have Bill Hader and Barry, Jason Segel in Shrinking, Jason Sudeikis and Ted Lasso, Jeremy Allen White, The Bear. The Bear is a comedy. I had no idea it was a comedy. It seems so dramatic. Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building, and Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building. God, putting them head to head. And not to mention Bill Hader and Jason Sudeikis head to head. So where does this go? This is a real head scratcher because there are a lot of great and don't take away from Jason Segel. A lot of great talent, a lot of great talent on this screen. And not to mention Bill Hader and Jason Sudeikis' last opportunities for these respective shows to be nominated for Golden Globes. So where do you send it? Bill Hader puts in a tour de force performance as Barry, although I'm going to say it didn't really care for the ending of the series as much as I cared for the body of the series. Ted Lasso, the body of the last season wasn't nearly as strong as the ending, but still it kind of balances out. Jason Segel, I haven't seen Shrinking. It's been on my watch list forever, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Martin Short and Steve Martin, again, haven't seen the latest Only Murders in the Building, but they're legends. But I have to make two choices here. One, my personal pick, and two, who I think might win based on assumptions. So here we go. I would love to see Bill Hader be recognized for his work on Barry. But I think they will probably send Jason Sudeikis home with one more award. Shout out to Amber joining us here from out west. Love you, Amber. You're always a wonderful person to have tune in. I know if I say something to make you angry, you're going to tell me about it. So hopefully I keep it real friendly. So best performance by a female actor in a television series, musical, or comedy. We have Ayo Edebiri. Again, butchering names. I'm sorry. From The Bear, Elle Fanning from The Great. Natasha Lyonne, Poker Face. Hmm. Uh, Quinza Brunson, Abbott Elementary. Excellent show. Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Excellent show. Selena Gomez, Only Murders in the Building. This one's a little easier for me because my heart goes out to Mrs. Maisel, the new Lois Lane. That's very easy for me. But how can you not recognize the brilliance of Abbott Elementary? That is such a good show, and for just network TV, my goodness, they do a great job showing the struggles that teachers have in the classroom these days. It's not only funny, it's not only extremely well written, but it's got a message. So how could one not root for anything Abbott Elementary? It's such a good show. So while my heart would love to see Mrs. Maisel take home a win for the last season, my brain says Abbott Elementary taught me well. And then I could just be absolutely wrong on both counts. In case you haven't figured it out, I'm kind of tuning the system a little bit here. So if I make two picks, there's a good chance I'm sort of right at least once. So if it was my personal pick, I was like, yeah, it was my personal pick because that's how I felt. And if I pick someone and they win, and I think it's the smart pick, yeah, of course it's a smart pick. That's why I said it. See what I did there? Best performance by a male actor in a television series drama: Brian Cox, Succession; Dominic West, The Crown; Gary Oldman, Slow Horses; Jeremy Strong, Succession; Kieran Culkin, Succession; and Pedro Pascal, The Last of Us. I've only seen The Last of Us, and The Last of Us was awesome. I'm not sure if it had enough legs to carry it through the award season, especially considering the powerhouse that Succession has been. Succession, God, that's just gonna bug me all show. Gary Oldman, always a wonderful choice for anything, but my heart says Pedro Pascal. My brain says, you know what? My brain says Kieran Culkin. The show's got to win something, right? Right. Best performance by a female actor in a television series drama: Bella Ramsey, The Last of Us; Emma Stone, The Curse. That's the funny thing about The Curse. It did not get a whole lot of good things said about it, but apparently it was good enough for these awards. And I say this, and I haven't seen it. I'm bad. I'm a bad fan because I love Nathan Fielder. He's an amazingly funny guy. And I definitely want to see this, but I just haven't got around to it. Helen Mirren, 1923. Imelda Staunton, The Crown; Kerry Russell, The Diplomat; and Sarah Snook, Succession. I think it might be a little early for showing that love to Bella Ramsey in The Last of Us. Don't get me wrong, great performance, absolutely worthy of awards, and for someone so young to be up against the likes of Emma Stone and Helen Mirren and Kerry Russell, it's it should be inspiring to be mentioned on the same breath as these wonderful actors. So I'm just my heart, I'm gonna give my heart a chance to say Bella Ramsey because I saw The Last of Us. It was a powerful performance, very moving. But again, it's one of those situations. You see Helen Mirren show up, You don't go against Helen Mirren. All right, I'm going to take just a quick 30-second pause for the cause. Why don't you sit back and watch this little video about, I guess, one of our friends of the show, moviesandmeals.com. We'll be right back. Oh, we're back. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that little commercial break. And go to moviesandmeals.com. Find out what your next meal is going to be based on movies. That's right up everybody's alley. So we're going to keep this truck rolling along. Best television limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. We're talking about the show now, people. All the light we cannot see. Beef. Daisy Jones and the Six. I got to see this Daisy Jones and the Six. What is it? Fargo. For a limited series, it seems like that show's been on forever. Fellow Travelers and Lessons in Chemistry. What is Lessons? It's an Apple TV show, it looks like. I don't have Apple TV anymore. Maybe I should reinstitute my Apple TV. I'm going to go ahead and say my brain and my heart both say beef. My brain and my heart are beefing on this one. So beef, which means I really got to get on top of that one. That's Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. All right, best television series, musical or comedy. We have Abbott Elementary. Again, brilliant show. Barry, amazing show. The Bear, haven't seen it. Jury Duty. I mean, let's face it. It was fine. I enjoyed it. I'm not really understanding what's with all the talk about how great it is. I mean, we saw this a couple times before. Remember Joe Schmo Show and Ralph Garman? Not just me. I'm the only one that remembers that. Well, I remember that. Now, Only Murders in the Building. Another hilarious show from the season that I saw. And Ted Lasso. Epic. Brilliant. Love it. Love it. Oh, this is one of those categories where you just feel like upset because only one show can win, and there is just so much good stuff. For anybody that says television sucks today, you're not watching these shows. They're amazing. You know what? I'm going to say Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso. That's my heart pick, and I think that's my brain pick too. Yeah, I'm only going with one on this one. Ted Lasso. Now, smart man probably would have looked up some of these betting odds beforehand, but nope, not me. Just kind of going off the cuff here. By the way, if you want to watch the Golden Globe Awards, they are in 7 days, 22 hours, 27 minutes, and 15 seconds from this point in time. I think basically what that means is they are Sunday night. That would be January 7th. I believe Sunday, January 7th. Yes. So you can watch them Sunday, January 7th on CBS. Best television series drama 1923, The Crown, The Diplomat, The Last of Us, The Morning Show, and The Succession. No, not The Succession. My heart immediately jumps to The Last of Us. Why? Because it's the one that I watched. But my brain says, oh, Succession, I believe that's ending too. So Yeah, probably going to go there. Not much to break down. Best original song in a motion picture: "Addicted to Romance." She Came to Me. I'm sorry, "Addicted to Romance" in "She Came to Me" by Bruce Springsteen. There we go. Let's see. Then we have "Dance the Night" from Barbie by Mark Ronson, Andrew Wyatt, Dua Lipa, and Carolyn Aylin. And then we have "I'm Just Ken" from Barbie by Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt. "Peaches" from the Super Mario Brothers movie by Jack Black, Aaron Horvath, Michael Jelinek, Eric Osman, and John Spiker. Then we have "Road to Freedom" from Rustin by Lenny Kravitz. And then "What Was I Made For?" Barbie from Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell. It seems kind of crazy to me that Barbie has 3 nominees in Best Original Song. Not because they're bad songs, because they're good. They're good songs. But it's not a musical. It has music in it and a music number or 2, I don't recall. But it's not a musical, but it's got 3 nominations for Best Original Song. 3. And then the song that Jack Black wrote in like 5 minutes is nominated for an award. And don't get me wrong, I like Peaches as much as the next guy. Singing it along, Peaches, it's and it did get denied the Oscar shortlist. It's unfortunate. It would have been nice to see that performed live at the Oscars. See Jack Black perform live at the Oscars. So this is let's try to break this down. The brain says it's going to go to a Barbie. It's going to go to a Barbie song. And I would say it would probably go to "What Was I Made For?" But my heart says "I'm Just Ken." Because you know what? I am Kenough. I should probably watch that again before the end of the year. Why? Just because it's good. I'll tell you what to watch in a little bit. Best Original Score in a Motion Picture: Daniel Pemberton, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Jerskin Fendrix, is that a real name? From Poor Things. Joe Hisaishi, The Boy and the Heron. Ludwig Göransson, Oppenheimer. Micah Levi, The Zone of Interest. And Robbie Robertson, Killers of the Flower Moon. I was going to make a Spider-Man joke, but I decided not to. My heart just squeals at the thought that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse gets not only nominated, but a possible win for that amazing score. But Oppenheimer, it's hard to go against that also outstanding score. I think the Across the Spider-Verse score was maybe a little more versatile, considering the things that it covered. But Oppenheimer was powerful. And it helped guide you through the range of emotions that no one really wanted you to feel. So heart's going for Spider-Man. Brain, I think, is going for Oppenheimer. All right, next we have Best Screenplay in a Motion Picture. Celine Song, Past Lives. It's on my watch list. Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. Eric Roth and Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach, Barbie. Justine Triet and Arthur Harari, Anatomy of a Fall. And Tony McNamara, Poor Things. I think I have to go with Barbie. 1 year ago, if you asked me this question about who would be taking home for best screenplay motion picture of the Golden Globe Awards, I would have not said Barbie. But here we are, and I think it's Barbie. Not to take away from any of the other films or any of the other writing, but when it comes to impact, I don't think anybody was as caught off guard by a script than what we saw on screen with Barbie. Oppenheimer, powerful movie, powerful script, but I do think that was sort of expected. Maybe people were surprised that the thought of, you know, a movie about Oppenheimer would be as interesting as it was, let alone as intense as it turned out to be. But Barbie is a tremendous surprise. Had a little notification message. I had to check that real quick. Sorry, kids. Where was I? So yeah, going with Barbie. I'm gonna say Heart and Brain. Best director, Bradley Cooper, Maestro. I'm about to watch that soon, so stay tuned. Celine Strong, Past Lives. One that I still have to see. Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, Greta Gerwig, Barbie, Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things. Once again, this comes down to me between Barbie and Oppenheimer. Greta Gerwig does what might be the the impossible and makes a mainstream Barbie movie that is important, impressive, and has a phenomenal message from Barbie. That's, I mean, it was just supposed to be a toy movie. It was just supposed to be a toy movie, and it became something bigger. But is it simply because of the directing? I don't know. The directing was something else. Give me 2 seconds to ponder. Okay. I'm gonna say Greta Gerwig did an outstanding job. That is undeniable. But just from the art of directing, Christopher Nolan crushed it. He brought something not necessarily new to the table, but he sort of made advancements in the field of directing with this biopic that should have been intensely dull, but it was at. I mean, what biopic has a jump scare? But he did it, and it was arguably the scariest movie of the year. Once you stop to think about the ramifications of the subject matter. So, Christopher Nolan, Best Director, Heart, Brain. Male actor in a supporting role in any motion. God, there's a lot of nominees, aren't there? I thought this would like breeze by 20 minutes and we'd be moving on to something else. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. Charles Melton, May December. That's one that's now streaming. Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things. Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon. Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer. Ryan Gosling, Barbie. Willem Dafoe, Poor Things. And Poor Things is right because in my mind, once again, I knew it. I knew it when I saw the movies, when I saw Barbenheimer, that it's going to be Ryan Gosling and it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. vying for my attention. And because I saw Oppenheimer and I'm like, oh, RDJ's got these awards locked. Then I saw Barbie and I'm like, oh dear Lord, Ryan Gosling. He just absolutely owns the role. He owns everything about that part. And it is incredible to watch. So the question is, who walks away with the trophy? You know what? I'm going to go with Ryan Gosling. Yeah, Ryan Gosling. That's my heart. Although my head says this is where things get tricky. This is where things get tricky. I think a lot of people are going to have the same issue that I do. And there's not going to be any like overflowing, huge output of support for either one of them because they're going to split. And I'm thinking maybe Robert De Niro kind of slides in there and steals it. That's what my head's thinking. And then Robert De Niro takes it. Maybe. Sorry, I just watched Little Fockers. And no, that was not me taking Brandon's word. Best performance by a female actor in a supporting role in any motion picture, Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple. I haven't seen it, but good for it for being nominated. Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. Watching it now. She's good. Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer. Okay. Jodie Foster, Naiad. Julianne Moore, May, December. Rosamund Pike, Saltburn. My heart's, definitely in with The Holdovers. Although, it's going to be difficult to say The Color Purple. It, was released on Christmas, and the Golden Globes are a week away. So, how many people, think? Yeah, sure, they got the screeners out, but when was all the voting and everything done? That's a good question, I think. Sorry, computer's going a little nuts here. So while my heart says, what did I say my heart says? Oh, none Divide joined right off because I've been watching that performance. I can sort of base it on something that I've seen. Brain's going to say Julianne Moore. Mostly because I'm not sure how long, they've had to watch The Color Purple because, I haven't seen it. And if it wasn't just released, I'd probably lean more towards it. But there's something weird about winning awards. And in some cases, pre-release. And that's always seems weird. We're going to release it for a week in December and then have a wide release in March. That it's happened. But this is Christmas Day. It gets in under the wire for award season. But I do hope it does incredibly well. Maybe the recency bias will work in its favor. So I'm going to put an asterisk next to that as kind of a head B. Okay. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction. Joaquin Phoenix, Beau is Afraid. Matt Damon, Air. Nicolas Cage, Dream Scenario. I want to see that. It's going to be on streaming soon, I imagine. Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, and Timothy Chalamet in Wonka. Ooh. I've seen Air. I've seen The Holdovers. I haven't seen any of the others. So just from an educated, from where I sit standpoint, Paul Giamatti in The Leftovers is crushing it, and The Holdovers. Although I have heard some good buzz about American Fiction. Matt Damon. I mean, Air was good. Air was good. I don't think it was a cut above anything. No. Dream Scenario looks like a very interesting piece, and I can't wait to see it. And Timothy Chalamet doing some character work in Wonka. I've been debating on about while I've had the time off recently whether or not to go check that out, and I'm thinking at some point I might. So in the meantime, Heart says Paul Giamatti, Head says probably Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Best performance by female actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Alma Poisty, Fallen Leaves, Emma Stone, Poor Things, Fantasia Barrino, The Color Purple, Jennifer Lawrence, No Hard Feelings. Really? Wow. Okay. Margot Robbie, Barbie, and Natalie Portman, May, December. I think this is, even though what I said about The Color Purple just moments ago is fresh on my mind, I have kind of talked myself into thinking that there could be a kind of groundswell of support for Fantasia in this award category, even though Margot Robbie is also a strong choice for playing a Barbie that is having a crisis of self. So I'm very much split on this, and I've actually seen one of the movies. So which way should I lean? You know what? I'm going to split it. Heart, Margot, Head, Fantasia. If either one wins, I'm going to chalk that up as being right. Unfortunately, it's going to be a couple weeks before we know that on this show because the next episode is going to be on Friday. The awards are on Sunday. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and announce it now. If I had a pen, do I have a pen? I don't have a pen. But how about this? Sunday, January 7th, we do a live show, kind of a WADcast supplemental, and we kind of live chat the Golden Globes. By we, again, I mean the royal we, which probably means me, but that's okay. That's fine because I have no problem doing that. So Sunday, January 7th at, let's see, what's it look like? 9 p.m. Eastern? Well, I'll check local listings, find out when the actual awards actually start, and we'll probably go live a few minutes before that, just so we're kind of in position to get everything, ready. The WADcast Golden Globe live watch. I'll come up with a catchier title, but next Sunday, we'll be doing that. Best performance by male actor in a motion picture. Andrew Scott, All of Us Strangers. Barry Keoghan. Yeah. Barry from Saltburn. Bradley Cooper, Maestro. Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer. Coleman Domingo, Reston, Leonardo DiCaprio. Killers of the Flower Moon. Leonardo DiCaprio. I haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon, but I mean, uh, uh, eh. Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer. Uh, tremendous performance. I have a hard time believing that anybody's going to beat him. So head heart belong to Oppenheimer on this in this category. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture or drama: Annette Bening, Naiad; Kaylee Spiney, Priscilla; Carrie Mulligan, Maestro; Greta Lee, Past Lives; Lily Gladstone's Killers of the Flower Moon; Sandra Huller, and Anatomy Fall. This is one of those categories where I can see going to Killers of the Flower Moon. Not least of all because it was talked about. That's one of the performances I did hear about. Why haven't I watched any of these movies? I have a show about movies. I should have watched these movies. But sometimes it's hard to kind of figure out what's going to be the award worthy buzz, and sometimes just have a hard time finding time or streaming platforms that run all of this stuff. I think it would be nice if there was, I don't know, some sort of singular platform to where the award nominees are all available. So people that have shows like this and media companies could talk about them. Just saying. Oh, and I know I can just, well, why don't you just, I don't know, get on some list? You get streamers, or that way you can, stream the movies for the screening. And I don't know why I'm mocking you, because that actually sounds like a pretty good idea. And I wish I would have mocked myself into thinking of it sooner. So if anybody knows how to get screeners, like officially, like legit, we are an official legit media company. So, I mean, should count for something, right? So, my head says, head and heart say, Killers of Flower Moon. Any other year, I might say Priscilla has a chance to take it, but fresh off the heels of an Elvis, nomination spree, and this movie apparently doesn't make Elvis look in the best of lights. I don't know. Best motion picture non-English language: Anatomy of a Fall, Fallen Leaves, Io Capitano, Past Lives, Study of the Snow, and Zone of Interest. As we all know, 2023 was a year that I had fallen in love with foreign language films, mostly from India. A few Spanish language films, definitely some sort of Eastern Central European language films, and Korean films also not so much Japanese films for some reason. Wait, nope. The last couple of nights I have been like doing a lot of like original Godzilla movies. It's been pretty rad actually. This has been my year for foreign language films. Although I haven't seen any of these, I gotta probably give it a Past Lives. It seems to be getting a lot of time in the limelight with some awards, and that's got to say something about the movie itself. And some people that I trust when it comes to their opinions on films, I've seen rate it highly. Uh, Next up for cinematic and box office achievement, I think what this boils down to, it's a category about movies that are mainstream successful, but perhaps not recognized for many of the other categories, popcorn flicks, if you will. But there were some lines being crossed, some lines being blurred when it comes to what is what. So first up, we have Barbie. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, a tremendous film in its own right. John Wick, Chapter 4. Oh man, that not gonna lie, that traffic fight was intense. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Oppenheimer. Box office achievement? Yeah, it did great. You know, it did do great. It closed in on $1 billion, and it's a biopic about a scientist. That's that is quite the achievement. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Mm. And I'm not saying because it's a less than spectacular movie. It is a tremendously amazing movie. I said spectacular and amazing. Haha, Spider-Man. What I don't know if it really. I mean, it did well, but did it light the box office on fire? I mean, box office is very specifically in the name of this award. Did Spider-Man light up the box office? I'm thinking maybe not. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour. I can almost see in this one taking the cake because it's a way to honor Taylor Swift, and you know how much everybody loves to do that. Not to take away from Taylor Swift. I am not a Swiftie, but I appreciate the work that woman does, and the appreciation she seems to show her crew. Tremendous person, but I don't know as far as achievement. mm, it's dead. It's not the best concert movie ever made. And then there's the Super Mario Brothers movie, which totally blew away everybody's expectations. Nobody accepted this. Nobody saw this coming. What's that finger? You're pointing at me. You saw this coming? You did, which means I saw this coming. Okay, yeah, I totally saw this coming. Who you're going to make an animated Mario movie where it looks like you're actually going to use stuff from the Mario games to make a Mario movie. Yeah, that thing's going to make $1 billion. Duh. It shouldn't have come as a surprise to anybody. Well, because we thought the movie from the 90s didn't do so great. People didn't it wasn't Mario, it wasn't the property that killed the 90s movie. No, it was the fact that it was a bad movie. That's what killed the 90s Mario Brothers movie. This they're like, "Hey, you love the games? Yeah. You liked the stuff from the games? Uh-huh. Then you're gonna like this movie." Oh, I think I'll like that movie. And not to mention just the fact alone that it was made by people that seem to appreciate and love the history of Mario. We had we had the references to games, to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. It was awesome. It was awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think it was win this category awesome. I I don't want to see Barbie win it, to be honest, even though it did amazing things at the box office, pulling over. Barbie made $1 million. Now, Barbie movie, I was like, Barbie is a big name, but what can you do with a Barbie movie? Then they're like, this is what we can do with a Barbie movie. And then they did it. And then they made $1 billion doing it. That blew my mind. But I think it's going to get a lot of recognition at the Golden Globes. I think it's going to get recognition at the Oscars. this specific category, I would like to see go to somebody that might not have the opportunity to showcase, what it can do on a grand sort of stage. The Golden Globes aren't the biggest stage, but they're still a stage, a place to showcase, um, and win an award. So, who do I want to see have that tag on their box that says winner of the Golden Globe for best box office, blah blah blah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. My heart, I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because I think this is going to be their chance to win something. My brain says it'll probably go to the highest grossing movie of the year, Barbie. And that's not a bad choice either. There are no bad options in this category. There's only one I haven't seen, and that was Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour. And again, not because I've got nothing against Taylor Swift, it's just because I've not really anything for her music. It's not like I abhor her music. It's just, I don't really do it. So this is the category I've seen like the most of. And I want to see Guardians do it. I probably think Barbie will take it. Best motion picture animated: The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Suzumi, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Wish. This is interesting, I think, because this year we also had Leo come out. That was quite good. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Neither one of these were nominated. Kind of a bummer, if I'm going to be honest with you. But Across the Spider-Verse, head and heart all day. Who am I kidding? The Boy and the Heron. Miyazaki's gotta. He'd probably take that, right? So I'm gonna say Heart, Spider-Man, head, maybe The Boy and the Heron. Best motion picture, musical, or comedy: Air. That was comedy. I say that a lot. American Fiction. Still gotta see it. Barbie. The Holdovers. May, December, and Poor Things. And it's Barbie. The Holdovers is turning out to be amazing so far. In fact, if I wasn't doing the show, I'd still be watching it right now. But as a nominee for Folio Weekly's Best of Jacks 2023 Best Podcast, I do believe it was not only owed to everybody and you, and we owed it to ourselves to end this banner year for the WADcast and WADco Media with a bang. And we did it without a Brandon, unfortunately. So Barbie takes this head of heart. Best motion picture drama: Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the... Let's face it, everything, and then Oppenheimer, head and heart, all day long. Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, The Zone of Interest. See, Past Lives, gotta have something good for it. Best foreign language film, for sure. That's where my head's at there. But yeah, Oppenheimer for best motion picture drama, head and heart. Those are the Golden Globe Award nominees. Don't forget to join us next Sunday night, and we're going to have a live watch along so we can go over these picks that I've made. But the show's not over yet. We are 75 minutes into this bad boy. Flying solo. Brandon, if you're listening to this at a later time, Tiger's Blood. I'm going to ask you about that. That's going to be the secret phrase. I'm like, oh, so Brandon, you watch the show? And you'll say, yeah, I watched the show. Of course I watched the show. And I'll say, Tiger's Blood. And they'll say, what does that mean? They're like, you didn't watch the show. And he'll be like, you said a weird phrase on the show just to see if I'd watch it, and I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, I did, and I got you." So next time we're on the show, I will also let you know how that turned out. But you know what, Brandon? If you're watching the show, I don't care what time of day or night it is, just text me Tiger's Blood. Just do that. Doesn't matter when. And then I'll know that you watch the show. And nobody tell him either. Nobody tell him. Although it might get him to watch because you're like, why is everybody telling me to send you a message that says Tiger's Blood? Because we're winning. So that's the Golden Globe nominees. I did say at the end of the show, towards the end of the show, we would do some other things. One of them being, I'm gonna just go over all the movies I watched this year. I watched 50 of them in no particular order. Actually, they're in the order of best to worst. Okay, not best to worst, but the ones that I you know what? Instead of like in an order thing, I'll just talk about the movies that I watched and like, hey, this is one of the highs, this is one of the lows. Okay, so uh Cross the Spider-Verse, Mutant Mayhem, John Wick Chapter 4, Barbie, Asteroid City, Guardians, We Have a Ghost. Haunting in Venice, I actually enjoyed that very much, seeing Tina Fey, not a Tina Fey role. Very good. Leo, Happy Madison production on Netflix. Very much enjoyable. A lot better than I thought it would be. A lot better than I think it had any right to be. Quiz Lady. People are sleeping on this one. You got to check it out. You know what? I liked the Marvels. I liked it. Naman Vellani just absolutely steal the show, and every time she is on screen, I light up just as much as she does because seeing her be Captain Marvel is so heartwarming. I cannot hate this movie. Five Nights at Freddy's a lot better than I thought it was going to be honest, and I'm quite frankly glad that they went a little bit softer with it for the sake of being for younger audiences. God, so many kids play Five Nights at Freddy's. It is Wes Anderson. Not only did he release Asteroid City, which is getting no talk when it comes to awards, and it's kind of a shame, really, because it's my favorite Wes Anderson film. But he also released a few short films dedicated to the work of Roald Dahl. Wonderful little films. You can find them on Netflix. Make sure to give those a watch. Like Poison the Ratcatcher, and you know what? We'll get to that in a moment because they are mentioned on my other thing. No One Will Save You. That was pretty all right. Except as far as the conversation goes, it came, it went, and people talked about it for a minute, and then they didn't. That's kind of how that works. Scream 6, better than I thought it would be, to be honest, and I'm glad that they had kind of had a new setting to do the the ghost face killings, and unfortunately, it still broke down into a very personal issue for the killer. Oppenheimer, naturally, Mission Impossible Ghost or Hard Reckoning. What the heck is that called? Dead Reckoning. I was going to say Ghost Protocol. No, that's a different one. Dead Reckoning Part 1. You know what? It's a Mission Impossible movie. Doesn't really do anything new. Doesn't break the bank. It's just kind of there. But it's good that it's there, and I'm glad that it's there. It gives people that weekend to go to the movies and watch it. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Again, I liked this movie. I know a lot of people didn't, but to me, it's like my number 3 Indiana Jones movie. That's right. It's better than Temple, in my opinion, because I think the best Indy is the Indy that's punching Nazis in the face. And call me old fashioned, but I like to see a Nazi get punched in the face. You know, and it goes back to the sort of thing, the sort of adventure Indiana Jones thrives on. Renfield, a lot better than I thought it'd be. Fast X, again, like Mission Impossible, you know what you're getting when you go into it. What can you say? Please don't destroy the treasure of Foggy Mountain. better than I thought it would be, but in the end, it's still just an extended SNL sketch from Please Don't Destroy. And I enjoy them. Just, again, one of those things. If you know what it is, you know what you're getting. Knock at the Cabin. Uh, Return to form for Shyamalan. Tetris. Uh, International intrigue and espionage for a movie about a video game. True story. Never saw that coming. And then, of course, The Flash happened. Gran Turismo was not bad. Dungeons and Dragons. Where did that come from? That was pretty entertaining. Cocaine Berry. Cocaine Bear. It's like, what? Is this what? Yeah, that was this year. The second Shazam movie came out, and yep, that's about as long as the conversation lasted. Blue Beetle, same thing. It happened. Leave the World Behind kind of became a meme hit because reasons, I guess. I don't know. I didn't care for it. To me, it just wasn't great. The Inside with Willem Dafoe, one-man movie, very much so. He carries it. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but Willem Dafoe is a one-man show. Missing. I wish I missed that movie. Oh, I'm sorry. That's being mean. Winnie the Pooh came out with a horror film. And, oh yeah, Rebel Moon. The movie that everyone says it's something. Honestly, though, there really doesn't seem to be any conversation about Rebel Moon other than I saw it. It was I saw it, and it was great. And that's kind of where the conversation has been ending. There isn't anything longer, deeper, or drawn out. Nobody's trying to get into the complexity of character. Nobody's digging into the plot, at least on the forums and Facebook posts and things like that. That I'm at. Nobody's trying to carry this torch from what I see, like they have been for, things like the DCEU or Snyderverse. It's just kind of people are just letting it sit there. They give their opinion on it and then move along. And I'm here for that. I gave my opinion on it. I was like, it steals a lot, but it's pretty. It could have been far worse, but wasn't great. Eh. And then that's it. There's really nothing else to say. So that's kind of that has kind of been my year in movies. I did see Cade, a movie that I left unreviewed. I didn't put any stars on my Letterboxd for a skid comic on Letterboxd, by the way. If you wanna catch me on Letterboxd, follow me there. I left it without any star rating because I didn't know how. Because if you rate it on technical prowess, you go, half star, 1 star. It's not good. But if you rate it on sheer entertainment value, being in a packed, and I do mean packed, theater full of people dying to see the new Neil Breen movie and watching along and laughing at the the sheer terror of terrible movies, then it's a 5 all day. That's the entertainment value off the charts. That there are companies that are solely existing based on watching movies that are not made well, and then quipping um, along, riffing, if you will, to the movie. And this is the quintessential that. So I find it difficult to leave a proper review or rating for movies that are like that. And at the end of the day, you can either rate it for how well it's made or rate it for how much you enjoyed it. And sometimes the two are completely disparaging, uh, disparate. The two are opposite. It's really what I'm trying to get to. So that was my year in film, and finally I said I would get to this movies on these articles from Variety.com. It's movies that are now streaming that maybe you missed in the theaters and you're ready to give them a shot before the end of the year. And we're going to start with Barbie. Barbie's on Max. The Holdovers is now on Peacock. That's what I've been watching. And on May December is on Netflix. Maestro is also on Netflix. Spider-Man Across the Universe, Netflix. Fair Play, guess what? Netflix. Rustin, Netflix. The Super Mario Brothers movie, Peacock, and Netflix. The Killer, Netflix. I think you're sensing a trend here. Saltburn, Prime Video. See, the trend ended right when I pointed it out. Air, Prime Video. Might be in alphabetical order now that I think about it. Yeah, Air's on Prime. Cassandro is on Prime. Flora and Son is on Apple TV. I guess no on the alphabetical. The Little Mermaid. How could I forget about mentioning that story? You know, the Little Mermaid that caused such an uproar amongst middle-aged men, specifically middle-aged white men, came out. Yep. And then people stopped talking about it. Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, Netflix. Oh, Little Mermaid, in case you wonder where it's on Disney Plus. Asteroid City, Peacock and Prime Video. Definite must see. Showing Up, Paramount with Showtime. Creed 3 on Prime Video. Golda on Paramount Plus. Beau is Afraid, Paramount with Showtime Plus. American Symphony is on Netflix. Evil Dead Rise, Max and Prime Video. Master Gardener is on Hulu. The Burial is on Prime Video. They Cloned Tyrone is on Netflix. The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, that collection of short stories from Wes Anderson, based on the books of, or based on the short story collection from Roald Dahl, is on Netflix. El Conde is on Netflix. 1001 is on Prime. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is on Prime. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is on Disney Plus. Skinamarink is on Hulu. Infinity Pool is on Hulu. How to Blow Up a Pipeline is on Hulu. Cocaine Bear is on Peacock and Prime Video. Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves is on Paramount Plus and Prime Video. Inside is on Peacock and Prime Video. Bottoms is on Paramount Plus with Showtime. I've been looking forward to seeing that. The Eternal Memory, Paramount Plus with Showtime. Elemental, Disney Plus. Passages is on Mubi. Mubi. What is Mubi? Huh. MUPI. Anyway, so those are some movies that, you know, if you missed, that's where you can stream them. Huh. Well, we did it. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. We did a show with no Brandon. Feels a little dirty, to be honest with you, flying solo. And like, I got all the junk on me. Sorry. It's a pun, you see, because I didn't get any junk on me because junk's not here. That's Brandon. Brandon's the junk. It's not an insult. It's his name. With that being said, if you go on over to WADcomedia.com, you'll be able to catch all of the cool links to the social medias. I by far recommend keeping an eye on the Facebook pages for WADCO Media and the WADcast. That way you can get a quicker, up-to-date look at everything that we're doing, stuff that's coming up. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on what's coming up. In fact, I might be doing a special on Monday I probably shouldn't just say might be. I will be doing a special on Monday talking about what is coming up for the upcoming year, new shows that we got coming down the pipeline, what you can expect from Wadco Media and the WADcast. And hopefully, within about 3 weeks, we will have the definitive answer on whether or not the WADcast is the best podcast in Jacksonville. And if it is, oh, there's going to be a big announcement after that. And you know what? I am so excited to make that announcement. And hopefully, we'll be able to. So, wadcomedia.com for the socials, for the merch. If you want a cool shirt with logos and stuff that I designed. Yeah, me. Then by all means, wadcomedia.com. Check out the merch section. It has a Patreon. Don't go to the Patreon because I don't want people to expect me to do things, especially extra things. I should just take that down, to be honest. But if you do want to throw your hard-earned money our way, then the merchandise place is the way to do it, unless you have something hard in your hands. Let me backtrack that a little bit. You have something physical in your hands to hold for the money that you spent, and we get a few cents, and T-shirt company gets like a bunch of dollars, but it's not about who gets what. The only thing that matters is you get something to show your support of what we do. That's all that matters. So wadcomedia.com. And you'll be able to find Brandon's social media information too, and that's really where you should go harass him about not showing up for work. Although, yeah, technically he is at work, just not this work. I'm just kidding. If you see Brandon, if you see him on social media, make sure that you write loving and supporting messages for Brandon, because he is going to be going through the ringer for a while, with a really heavy schedule. So make sure that you tell him that we're all rooting for him, and to hopefully, not crash. I mean that sincerely, which is weird for me, to be honest. No, I'm going to stop doing that now. I'm just kidding. I'm sincere all the time. But right now it's time for the music. And the music means one thing. I'm sure it could mean more things, but in this case, it means one thing. It means that it's time for the final message of the night. What's that message you say? Well, it's the same as it is every week. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. If you want to create, if you want to be somebody that creates, then you just need to start creating. I'm going to give you a good example. I have a guitar. Can I play it? I've had it for a few months, but I'm learning. You might recall a few weeks back, Charlie Shuck was on the show, and I told him a while back. I said, I want to play guitar, and he said, "Okay, do it." I was like, "Well, you can't just go out and buy a guitar and learn guitar." And he's like, "No, that's literally how you learn guitar." Yeah, I guess you're right. You have to do it. So if you want to be a writer, start writing. If you want to be an actor, there are tons of places where you can get words to act. And guess what? You don't need permission to do it. You don't need permission to get your phone and start shooting video, unless signs prohibit it. Then you need permission, private property. Anyway, it's not the point. You don't need permission to create. If you want to be a creator, if you want to be an artist, then the first thing you have to do is do it. That's it. That's the first step. It's the only step. Because if you're not going to tell yourself that you can't do it, And if you're not going to tell yourself that you should do it, and if you're not going to tell yourself to get up and do it, then you're not going to do it. So I'm telling you now, get out of your own way. Be the creator that you want to be. Be the person that you want to be. And do the thing. Because the worst art ever is the art that doesn't get made. And even the worst thing you can make will always be better than the thing that never gets made. And after all, nobody can enjoy it if it's stuck in your head. And I should take my advice more often, especially with that guitar. I'm working on it by March, I know. So that's been the WADcast, episode number 155. Thank you all for joining me here tonight. I saw that a few of you joined us for the live watch along. Next week, we'll be back with a brand new episode number 156. Monday, there will be some sort of something announcing we'll say the 2024 Wadco Media lineup, the schedule, the year schedule, and then the week next Sunday, and then we'll do the live Golden Globes watch along. So until next time we meet, I want to say good night, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe new year. I look forward to catching all of you again in 2024.